The celestial intruder. In the vast expanse of space, humanity had long believed itself alone. That belief shattered on a crisp autumn morning in 2047 as Dr. Elena Rodriguez peered through the world's most powerful radio telescope in Chile's Atacama Desert. "Holy shit," she whispered, her coffee mug slipping from her fingers and shattering on the floor. Her colleagues rushed to her side, but Elena's eyes remained fixed on the monitor. There, amidst the cosmic static, was an unmistakable pattern, not the random bursts of a pulsar or the steady rhythm of a binary star system, but a complex, repeating sequence that could only be artificial in origin. "We're not alone," she breathed, her voice barely audible over the hum of computers. Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed the signal. Its source, a massive object decelerating as it entered the solar system, heading directly for Earth. As news spread, the planet erupted into a frenzy of excitement, fear, and speculation. World leaders convened emergency meetings, religious figures proclaimed the end times, and social media exploded with theories ranging from benevolent saviors to bloodthirsty conquerors. In Washington, D.C., President Amelia Chen stood before a hastily assembled panel of scientists, military leaders, and advisors. Her face, normally composed, showed the strain of sleepless nights and world-altering decisions. "What do we know?" she demanded. Dr. James Harper, NASA's lead astrophysicist, stepped forward. "Madam President, the object is approximately 50 kilometers in length. It's slowing down as it approaches, which suggests artificial control. Based on its current trajectory, it will enter Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours. General Sarah Blackwood, Joint Chiefs of Staff, interjected. "We need to assume hostile intent. I recommend immediate mobilization of our space-based defense systems." President Chen raised a hand. "And if they're peaceful, we could be starting an interstellar war." "With all due respect, Madam President," the general countered, "if they're hostile and we're unprepared, there might not be an Earth left to defend." As debates raged in governments worldwide, humanity watched the skies with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Amateur astronomers tracked the object's approach, and soon it became visible to the naked eye, a glinting speck that grew larger with each passing hour. On the eve of its arrival, Dr. Rodriguez found herself aboard the International Space Station, part of a hastily assembled team of Earth's brightest minds. Their mission, to make first contact. As the alien vessel entered orbit, its true scale became apparent. It dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed, a city-sized behemoth of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. "My God," breathed Colonel Zhang, the station's commander. "It's beautiful." Suddenly, the station's communications crackled to life. A deep, resonant voice filled the module, speaking in perfect English. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Zorth of the Galactic Empire. Your world now falls under our protection and rule. Resist and you will be obliterated. Submit, and you may yet have a place in our glorious empire." Silence fell over the station. Dr. Rodriguez's heart pounded in her chest as she realized the magnitude of what was happening. This wasn't a friendly meeting of cosmic neighbors. It was an invasion. Back on Earth, as the alien ultimatum was relayed to world leaders, panic gripped the globe. In the White House Situation Room, President Chen's face was ashen. "Options," she demanded. General Blackwood stepped forward. "Our orbital defenses are ready, but against that," she gestured to the holographic display of the alien ship, "they might as well be slingshots against a tank." "We can't just roll over," argued the Secretary of State. "Billions of lives are at stake." As debates raged, a junior analyst cleared his throat. All eyes turned to him. "Madam President," he began hesitantly, "what if we stall for time? We're clearly outgunned, but maybe we can learn more about them, find a weakness." President Chen nodded slowly. "A diplomatic approach, buying time while we prepare for the worst. It's risky, but it might be our best shot." She turned to her communications director. Get me a direct line to this High Commander Zorth. It's time humanity showed these Krelliks what we're made of. As the call was placed, tension filled the room. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and the coming hours would determine whether Earth would stand proud or fall to its knees before the cosmic invaders. In orbit, Dr. Rodriguez and her team watched as a massive alien ship loomed ever closer. She clenched her fists, a mixture of fear and determination coursing through her veins. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: the world would never be the same again. As the first part of the story concludes, humanity stands at the precipice of a new era, facing its greatest challenge yet. The Galactic Empire's arrival has shattered Earth's isolation, forcing leaders to make impossible decisions and ordinary people to confront an extraordinary reality. With the clock ticking and the threat of annihilation looming, the true test of human resilience, ingenuity, and courage is about to begin. Diplomatic dance on the edge of oblivion. The cavernous meeting chamber aboard the Galactic flagship pulsed with an eerie blue light, casting otherworldly shadows across the faces of Earth's hastily assembled diplomatic team. President Amelia Chen stood at the forefront, her posture rigid, betraying none of the fear churning in her gut. Across from them, High Commander Zorth towered over the humans, his iridescent scales shimmering with each movement. 4 arms crossed over his broad chest, multifaceted eyes scanning the Earth delegation with cold calculation. "You've made a wise choice in accepting our invitation," Zorth's voice reverberated through the chamber. "Perhaps your species isn't as primitive as we first assumed." President Chen stepped forward, her voice steady. "We come seeking understanding, High Commander. Surely, there's room for peaceful coexistence between our peoples." A sound like grinding stone emanated from Zorth, a laugh the humans realized with a chill. Coexistence. Zorth's mandibles clicked in amusement. "You misunderstand, human. We are not here to make friends. The Galactic Empire expands. It is our way, our right as the superior species of this galaxy." As negotiations continued, it became clear that the Krelliks had no interest in compromise. They demanded Earth's complete surrender, offering only the promise of survival as servants of the Empire. Back on Earth, tensions reached a fever pitch. Riots erupted in major cities, doomsday cults gained millions of followers overnight, and militaries worldwide scrambled to prepare for the unthinkable. In a secret bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Sarah Blackwood pored over satellite data with her team. "There has to be a weakness," she muttered, studying the alien ship's schematics. "No one's invincible." Meanwhile, in laboratories across the globe, scientists worked around the clock, analyzing every scrap of data on the alien technology. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now back on Earth, led a team at CERN, pushing the boundaries of human understanding. "Their energy output is off the charts," she explained to a room full of bleary-eyed physicists. "But look here, there's a fluctuation in their shield harmonics every 17.3 hours. It's minuscule, but it's there." As days turned into weeks, humanity walked a tightrope. President Chen and her team engaged in a delicate diplomatic dance, stalling for time while feeding valuable intelligence back to Earth's defenders. Zorth grew increasingly impatient. "You test our patience, humans. Perhaps a demonstration of our power is in order." Without warning, a beam of searing energy lanced from the Galactic ship, vaporizing a small, uninhabited island in the Pacific. The message was clear: submit or be destroyed. The incident sent shockwaves through the global community. Panic reached new heights, and calls for immediate surrender grew louder. In the Oval Office, President Chen faced the toughest decision of her life. Her advisors were split. Some argued for surrender to save lives, others for a last-ditch fight for freedom. "We can't give up everything we are," Chen said, her voice tight with emotion. "But I won't sacrifice billions on principle alone. We need a third option." That option came in the form of an audacious plan. Dr. Rodriguez and her team had made a breakthrough, Theorizing a way to disrupt the Krellick shields, General Blackwood proposed a daring raid to plant a device aboard the alien ship during the next diplomatic meeting. It was a long shot, with a high probability of failure and catastrophic consequences if discovered, but it was hope, a chance for humanity to seize its destiny. As preparations for the covert operation began, President Chen steeled herself for one last round of negotiations. This time, she would be buying more than time. She would be gambling the fate of her entire species. The plan was set in motion. A small team of elite operatives, disguised as part of the diplomatic entourage, would attempt to infiltrate the alien ship. Their mission: to plant Dr. Rodriguez's experimental device at a crucial juncture in the Krellick power systems. As President Chen and her team boarded the shuttle to the alien flagship, the weight of humanity's future pressed down upon them. The operatives, hidden among them, checked their concealed equipment one last time. High above, the massive Krellick ship loomed, a dark promise of subjugation or annihilation. But within its hull, a spark of human defiance was about to be ignited, one that could either save Earth or doom it to destruction. The shuttle docked, and as the airlock hissed open, President Chen took a deep breath. For Earth, she whispered, stepping into the alien corridor, the fate of humanity hanging by a thread. Operation Trojan Horse. The alien corridors pulsed with an otherworldly energy as President Chen led her delegation through the Krellick flagship. Hidden among the diplomats and aides, a team of 4 elite operatives moved with practiced nonchalance, their eyes constantly scanning for threats and opportunities. Commander Jack Harper, leader of the covert team, felt the weight of the device concealed within his diplomatic briefcase. Dr. Rodriguez's voice echoed in his memory. "You'll have one shot at this. Plant it near their main power conduits and pray it works." The delegation was led to a vast chamber where High Commander Zorth awaited, surrounded by his advisors. As discussions began, Harper caught President Chen's subtle nod, the signal to proceed. "If I may, High Commander," Chen said, her voice steady despite the tension, "I'd like to propose a cultural exchange, a gesture of goodwill between our peoples." As Chen drew Zorth into conversation, Harper and his team slipped away, using the distraction to access a nearby maintenance shaft. They moved swiftly through the alien ship's innards, guided by intelligence gleaned from weeks of observation and analysis. Meanwhile, in the command center back on Earth, General Blackwood watched the operation unfold through microcameras hidden on the operatives. "Come on, Harper," she muttered, fingers drumming nervously on the console. The team encountered their first real obstacle at a sealed bulkhead. Lieutenant Zara Chen, the team's tech specialist, worked feverishly to bypass the alien security systems. Sweat beaded on her brow as the seconds ticked by. "We've got company," whispered Sergeant Mike Okoy, the team's lookout. The sound of approaching Krellick guards echoed through the corridor. Just as the alien footsteps grew unbearably close, the bulkhead hissed open. The team slipped through, hearts pounding, as the guards passed by mere meters away. Back in the diplomatic chamber, President Chen fought to keep Zorth engaged, acutely aware that every second could mean the difference between success and catastrophe. "Your culture fascinates us, High Commander," she said, forcing a smile. "Surely there's much we could learn from each other." Zorth's multifaceted eyes narrowed. "You continue to surprise me, human, but do not mistake my curiosity for weakness. The Galactic Empire does not share power." As the tense conversation continued, Harper's team finally reached their target, a massive chamber housing the ship's primary power distribution node. The air crackled with energy, and the walls thrummed with the heartbeat of the alien vessel. "This is it," Harper said, removing the device from his case. "Zara, find us the optimal spot." Lieutenant Chen scanned the room with a concealed sensor. "There," she pointed to a junction where, the turning point. Lieutenant Chen's finger pointed to a pulsing conduit where multiple energy streams converged. "That's our best shot," she whispered urgently. Commander Harper nodded, his hands steady as he carefully placed Dr. Rodriguez's device against the alien technology. The small apparatus hummed to life, its circuitry interfacing with the Krellic systems in ways humanity barely understood. Device planted, Harper reported through his concealed comm link, initiating countdown. Back in the diplomatic chamber, President Chen received the coded message through a subtle earpiece. Her heart raced, but her face remained impassive as she continued to engage Zorth in conversation. "High Commander, surely there must be a way for our species to..." She was cut off by a sudden violent tremor that shook the entire ship. Alarms blared, and Krellic crew members rushed about in apparent confusion. Zorth's eyes flashed with rage. "What have you done?" he roared, advancing on Chen. In that moment, all pretense of diplomacy vanished. "Now," Chen shouted into her comm link. Across the ship, Harper's team sprang into action. They fought their way through suddenly chaotic corridors, using the confusion to their advantage. Krellic guards, caught off guard by the sudden failure of their advanced weapons, fell to the humans' more primitive but still effective firearms. On Earth, military bases around the world launched a coordinated strike. Missiles streaked skyward, carrying payloads designed by Dr. Rodriguez to exploit the weakness in the Krellic shields. The massive alien ship shuddered under the assault. For the first time, the seemingly invincible Krellic technology showed signs of vulnerability. In orbit, human space stations that had been covertly militarized over the past weeks revealed hidden weapon systems, joining the attack on the flagship. President Chen, her diplomatic team, and Harper's operatives fought their way to the ship's hangar bay. They commandeered a Krellic shuttle, Chen's years of flight simulator training finally put to real use as she piloted the alien craft out of the disintegrating flagship. As they escaped, the full scope of the battle became clear. The night sky was alive with streaks of light, human weapons finding their mark against the previously impenetrable Krellic ship. But the aliens were far from defeated. Secondary systems kicked in, and Krellic fighters poured out of the wounded flagship like angry hornets from a disturbed nest. The battle for Earth had begun in earnest. On the ground, military forces mobilized with a speed and coordination unprecedented in human history. Years of quiet preparation, spurred by the growing certainty that humanity was not alone in the universe, were finally put to the test. Dr. Rodriguez, monitoring the battle from a secure facility, watched in awe as her theories were put into practice on a cosmic scale. "It's working," she breathed, watching the Krellic shields flicker and fail under the human assault. But the victory was far from assured. While the flagship was vulnerable, thousands of Krellic troops were now pouring onto the Earth's surface. Battles erupted in cities and rural areas alike as humanity fought against an enemy with superior technology and inhuman strength. In Washington, D.C., now serving as the Global Command Center for Earth's defense, General Blackwood coordinated the worldwide effort. Holographic displays showed the progress of battles across the globe, a mix of red and blue indicators fluctuating as the tide of war ebbed and flowed. "We've got them on the ropes," Blackwood announced, her voice tight with tension. "But they're dug in deep. This is going to be a long fight." As the battle raged on land and in space, a new challenge emerged. Krellic saboteurs targeted Earth's communication and power infrastructure, threatening to throw the planet into chaos. It fell to ordinary citizens to step up. Retired soldiers dusted off their skills to organize local militias. Engineers and hackers worked tirelessly to keep vital systems online. Farmers and factory workers turned their equipment towards the war effort. In the skies above, the wounded Krellic flagship limped away from Earth orbit, retreating to the far side of the moon. But the fight was far from over. Smaller Krellic ships continued to arrive, drawn by a distress signal from their beleaguered forces. As the first day of open war drew to a close, humanity found itself in a pitched battle for survival. The initial surprise attack had bought them an advantage, But the Krellick's vast empire ensured a seemingly endless supply of reinforcements. President Chen, now operating from a mobile command center, addressed the world. People of Earth, we face the greatest challenge in our history. But today we have proven that humanity will not go quietly into the night. We will fight, we will persevere, and we will win. As cheers erupted from crowds gathered around screens worldwide, Chen turned to her advisors, her face grim. Now, she said, we need to find a way to end this war before it ends us. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, with the outcome far from certain. But one thing was clear: Earth would never be the same again. Humanity's finest hour. As the war entered its second week, the initial euphoria of surviving the first Krellick assault gave way to the grim reality of a protracted conflict. Across the globe, humans fought with a determination born of desperation, knowing that defeat meant not just subjugation, but potentially the end of their species. In the ruins of Rio de Janeiro, Sergeant Maria Santos led a ragtag group of survivors in guerrilla attacks against Krellick patrols. Armed with a mix of conventional weapons and reverse-engineered alien tech, they struck from the shadows, disappearing into the favelas before the enemy could retaliate. We may not have their strength, Santos told her team as they prepared for another raid, but we have something they don't. This is our home, and we'll die before we let them take it. Meanwhile, in a hidden facility beneath the Alps, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked feverishly with an international team of scientists. They had made significant progress in understanding Krellick technology, but time was running out. We're close to cracking the FTL communication system, Elena explained to President Chen via secure video link. If we can disrupt it, we might be able to cut off their reinforcements. Chen nodded grimly. Do whatever it takes, Doctor. We're losing ground every day. Indeed, despite humanity's valiant efforts, the Krellick's superior numbers and technology was slowly turning the tide. Major cities lay in ruins, and millions had perished in the relentless assault. But even as the situation grew dire, the human spirit proved indomitable. In the skies over North America, a squadron of fighter pilots, led by Captain Jamal Williams, engaged in a desperate dogfight with Krellick aircraft. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, Williams and his team used daring maneuvers and Earth's atmospheric conditions to their advantage, downing several alien ships. Remember Pearl Harbor? Williams shouted over the comms as he dove into the fray. Remember 9/11? This is our Independence Day, and we're not going down without a fight. On the ground, civilian volunteers worked tirelessly to support the war effort. Factories retooled to produce weapons and armor. Hackers launched cyber attacks against Krellick systems. Even children contributed, with schools transformed into intelligence-gathering centers, analyzing alien communications and movements. In orbit, the International Space Station, now heavily modified and armed, served as humanity's first line of defense against incoming Krellick ships. Commander Yuki Tanaka coordinated a multinational crew in a series of daring raids against enemy supply lines. We are the guardians of Earth, Tanaka told her crew as they prepared for another sortie. Every ship we destroy buys our people more time. As the conflict raged, Dr. Rodriguez's team finally achieved the breakthrough they've been working towards. They successfully hijacked the Krellick's FTL communication network, flooding it with false data and contradictory orders. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Krellick forces on Earth suddenly found themselves cut off from reinforcements and central command. Confusion spread through their ranks, leading to tactical blunders that human forces were quick to exploit. General Blackwood seized the opportunity, launching a coordinated global counteroffensive. From the beaches of Australia to the steppes of Russia, humanity pushed back against their alien invaders with renewed vigor. In a pivotal battle in the skies over Geneva, a joint human-alien task force led by Commander Jack Harper deployed Dr. Rodriguez's latest invention, a device that could temporarily disable Krellick energy weapons. the playing field suddenly leveled, human forces dealt a crushing blow to the alien fleet. As news of victory spread, hope rekindled around the world. Resistance movements in occupied territories grew bolder, sabotaging Krellic operations and providing crucial intelligence to human military leaders. In a daring operation, a team of UN peacekeepers and local resistance fighters liberated a Krellic detention camp in the outskirts of Delhi, freeing thousands of human prisoners. The images of emaciated but defiant survivors raising the Earth flag of the ruins of the alien facility became a rallying cry for the global resistance. President Chen, addressing the United Nations from a secure bunker, captured the mood of cautious optimism. For the first time since this war began, we can see a path to victory, not through overwhelming force or superior technology, but through the indomitable human spirit. We have proven that even in our darkest hour, humanity's light shines brightest. As Chen spoke, scientists and engineers around the world worked feverishly to adapt Krellic technology for human use. Salvaged alien weapons were retrofitted for human hands, and captured ships were studied and replicated. In Antarctica, a team led by Dr. Kwame Osei made a startling discovery. The Krellic's unique biology made them particularly vulnerable to certain Earth bacteria. This led to the development of a non-lethal bioweapon that could incapacitate Krellic soldiers without harming humans. "We will defeat them," Osei announced, "not by becoming like them, but by using the very essence of our world against them." As the tide of war slowly turned, humanity dared to hope. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger, more united than ever before. The Krellic had sought to conquer Earth, but instead, they had forged humanity into a force to be reckoned with. The final battle loomed on the horizon. With their supply lines cut and their forces in disarray, the Krellic prepared for a last, desperate assault. But this time, Earth was ready. As the sun set on the eve of what promised to be the war's decisive engagement, President Chen addressed the world one last time. "Tomorrow, we fight not just for our survival, but for our place among the stars. Win or lose, let history remember that when faced with annihilation, humanity stood tall, stood together, and reached for the heavens." Across the globe, humans of all nations, races, and creeds steeled themselves for the coming storm. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, but for the first time since the war began, the future looked bright.